Thanks for checking out the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to see your deck featured on the channel, hang out with me and the amazing BoshNRoll community on Discord, access to my lists and sideboard guides before tournaments, or book an individual coaching session, check out the Patreon and YouTube member links in the video description. Use the code BoshNRoll to get 10% off the best Magic apparel on the market at coalesceapparel.shop. If you want to play what I'm playing, use my affiliate link to order cards from tcgplayer.com, or play any deck, anytime, with a Magic Online loan account from cardhoarder.com. Thanks again for being here. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to another BoshNRoll Legacy video. Today, at the request of Patreon subscriber Luca, I am playing Legacy Goblins. Luca did not provide a specific list. It was just play Goblins, and I went to the #1 source of Goblins content, direct from the horse's mouth, as they say. GoblinLacky1, aka Eli Goings, is the, as far as I know, premier Goblins content creator. He's got a Twitch, he's got a YouTube, he's got a Patreon. All these things exist. I'll link them in the video description if you're interested in Goblins and checking out Eli's work. I fired off a quick DM and I was like, hey, what does Goblins look like these days? And Eli sent me this back. And in about 5 minutes of messaging back and forth, I learned a whole lot of stuff that would not have been obvious to me about like how to play the Delver matchup and what some of the sideboard cards are for. And I can only imagine what is behind the walls of that Patreon if you really want to dig into Goblins content. But I am going to try to scratch the surface and showcase the archetype. It's been a long time since I played Legacy Goblins on the channel, and I think last time I played it was like right when Muxus was printed, and people were trying these like Ancient Tomb, Chrome Mox, Turbo Muxus builds. I don't know that I've ever played actual just tricksy little normal toolbox Goblins. I'm excited to give it a shot. I have played this deck before, just not for the channel. What we're doing here, well, for starters, the pedigree of this deck, one of Legacy's earliest decks, even when Legacy was called Type 1.5 before it separated entirely from the vintage ban list, Goblins was one of the best things to be doing. It was a Goblin Recruiter deck back then with Food Chain. It was just a pretty dedicated combo deck. We kind of see versions of that with Muxus kicking around these days. And then when 1.5 separated from Type 1 and they became Vintage and Legacy with their own ban lists, Goblin Recruiter got the axe. And now we have had this ever since. When people talk about broken eras of Legacy, they talk about Flash Hulk winning and losing on turn 0, depending on like the die roll and how many forces and how much free mana you have. And Goblins got second place in the Grand Prix that was played with Flash Hulk legal. That's how strong this deck is. That's how strong this deck has been throughout history, and it's never really gone away. Goblins is also one of the only decks in Magic's history that can fluidly play aggro, control, and combo, sometimes switching roles multiple times in the same game. Like your sideboard plan answers specific problems for matchups, but the toolbox nature of this deck and like the different things it offers, just like the nuts is connecting with turn 1 GoblinLackey. When this deals damage to a player, put a Goblin permanent from your hand onto the battlefield. That could represent up to 6 mana, which makes a trigger that could represent another 10 mana. Like you could generate 16 mana worth of things on turn 2 by connecting with a GoblinLackey in a not draw situation. You can also go grindy with Aether Vial, and you have mana denial in Rishadan Port and Wasteland. Just beat up your opponent's lands while your vials tick up, and you slowly sneak a Lackey in. They answer that? Okay, here's a Pile Driver. Can you answer that? Okay, here's Goblin Matron looking for Ringleader that's going to refill my hand. Sling Gang Lieutenant is kind of a, like, not even kind of, it's a reach option for the mid and late game. Turn every Goblin into a 1-point Lightning Helix at your opponent's face. With all this damage on the board early, it's very easy to, okay, they stabilize behind some big creatures or whatever. Here's an uncounterable Fireball for 7, and you're dead. War Chief gives the squad haste and makes them cost less. You can have some crazy stuff happen with a War Chief in play. Goblin Trashmaster, very cool tool. One of the more recent additions to the deck. Goblins get +1/+1, so it's a Lord, and sack a Goblin, destroy an artifact. Lots of artifacts kicking around this format. Shalik Mons, also one of the more recent additions. 3-mana 2/2. When Pashalik or another goblin you control dies, deals 1 to any target, and for 4 mana you could sack a goblin to make 2 goblins. This is an engine on its own. If you get into a grindy mid-game situation, it doubles up damage from Sling Gang Lieutenant. It turns Skirk Prospector into a machine gun. There's a lot of overlapping nonsense here that you can see how the deck could just cheese a quick win by attacking. It can grind out control situations with Pashalik and War Marshal and Munitions Expert and work its way up to some sort of big payoff. Or you can just combo kill your opponent, get enough goblins in play, and sack 10 of them to deal 20 to the opponent. And all of these things are working together all of the time. Very, very cool deck. Always has been. This is very much legacy royalty here. Regardless of its position at any given time, Goblins and Legacy are forever linked in history and in spirit. And I'm very excited to get to play this deck. And I'm excited to have a cool list with all this dope technology like Opposition Agent and these numbers of like 2 Leyline of the Void, 1 Mindbreak Trap. Really interesting stuff here. I would not have figured out these numbers by myself. Very happy to have Eli do that work for me. Luca, thanks for asking me to play this. Eli, thanks for the list. Let's go jump into these leagues. I'm on the play in round 1 against Minifer, who is Min from the MinMax blog, and also quasi-local to me. I live in Pittsburgh, and he lives in Columbus. Those are basically neighbor cities in the grand scheme of where people can be on the earth. I don't know that this hand has what we need. Like, it literally doesn't do anything until turn 3. Don't even have a Cavern to make those things happen. No Aether Vial to tick up value. I'm going to mulligan this. Min says, hi, YouTube. Everybody say hi to Min. Okay, here we go. I also know Min generally favors all other things being equal. Min favors controlling blue decks. Though last time I saw him battling, he was on Delver in real life. We ID'd in the Swiss of a Legacy tournament, both of us on Delver. And he also makes content with Maxtortion, who is the Max of MinMax blog, who has been on this Teamer broken cards pile for a while. So I'm not really going to try to predict what he's actually doing, but I expect it will be blue. I think Skirk Prospector is the worst card in this hand. Like, I can see the argument that Ringleader's at the top end and we're not really... Like, maybe you're supposed to mulligan the most expensive card, but it's also the most powerful card. So we're gonna Mountain Aether Vial this thing. I'm gonna hide the fact that my hand has Cavern of Souls in it. This insulates me from Wasteland. It also, like, if he has a counterspell or has any decisions to make regarding, like, pondering or brainstorming and keeping counterspells or not, I want a turn where that's not available decision to make. Looks like we got the prismatic ending here. Yep, okay. Tundra's a good sign, though. Those decks tend to be bad against goblins. I should know. I play a lot of them. Oh, I really want to Wasteland that Tundra, but do I want to get on board first? I'm going to Wasteland here. I don't know if that's right, but it feels like the cheese factor is high here. Maybe I'm just supposed to hold that and be a land on the way up to Ringleader, which is really where I want to take this game right now. Matron's good. Name Goblin, get this pile driver in. The Tundra deck has white removal in it, so pile driver's protection from blue doesn't turn off everything, but it can't get bounced by Teferi. Can't get blocked by, like, Shark Typhoon or Murktide Regent or Delver's Secrets or Snapcaster Mage. Come on, land. Always had it. I'm going to attack first, see what happens. I think at this point, getting this Matron on the stack is more important than wasting again. How many lands are actually in this list? 24. Yeah, I feel like working my way up to this 4-drop is not really a time to be firing off a Wasteland. After you just hit 2 land drops in a row, no problem. I'm gonna Matron here. Like, Matron being in play also beefs up pile driver attacks. Opens up the possibility for future Wastelands. Here's the tricky part. Do I know what to do with my tutors? And Ringleader is the best card, I think. War Chief sets up a lot of powerful things against the control deck. I'm not ready for Pashalik. Yeah, it would suck to tutor up a ringleader and then just not draw land and do nothing. I think I want War Chief. Yeah, War Chief can bring the ruckus next turn, attacking with 3 goblins. Makes Pile Driver huge. And if it sticks around for a turn, it's functionally mana for ringleader. Got a Brainstorm in the end step. Let's see if Min has returned to his Terminus roots. I can already tell this deck is going to melt my brain, this Goblins deck. We're on turn 4 of game 1 of match 1, and I'm like already not sure if I made any decisions correctly. Like, this Wasteland in my graveyard would have cast this ringleader for sure next turn. Would have let me Matron a second ringleader and just keep the hits coming. I don't even know if that Wasteland actually took him off anything. Was War Chief the correct card to get there? So many decisions to make. All right, we've got some Jeskai over there. That makes sense. That is kind of the current spiritual successor of Miracles. Some 3-mana thing happening here. Oh, that's a good thing. A 2-mana thing. Yep. All right, 5/5 Murktide. It would be a great time to draw that land for Ringleader. Never punished. Okay, Cavernon Goblin. I'm gonna lead the ring here. Let's load up this hand. This gives me an attacker. Only found 2 goblins here. That's still draw 2 cards. And it bottomed the lands that I now no longer want. Now I have this choice of I could turn all my creatures sideways, lose the ringleader, deal 5/6 to my opponent, or I could try to hold back and do like a big Lackey Prospector, Munitions Expert kind of turn next turn. Kind of think I want to push damage. I get blown out pretty bad by Swords to Plowshares. I'm in. Let's party. Because they can't block the Pile Driver. If he's got the plow, okay. Now taking 1 instead, and I gotta work my way back through this. But something I can do is cast War Chief and Lackey next turn and attack with both. Murktide Regent is tapped now. My opponent knows about both the War Chief and the Lackey. The only card in my hand that he doesn't know is Munitions Expert, which is a pretty good secret to have, but still not quite like gonna break the game. Mystic Sanctuary picking up Plow puts the best card, one of the best cards in the deck, back into the mix here and grows Murktide before damage. EI can put the Plow in the hand if he doesn't want to cast it right now. Ooh, exile Dragon's Rage Channeler. Already made the land drop. That's really interesting. Like, he could have just exiled Plow, cast it, get my board clear, and cast DRC next turn. He's valued having Swords to Plowshares up over having that creature ever. That's a good one. Okay, so I can go War Chief, Lackey, attack here. Probably Plow the War Chief. But I gotta work through this thing. War Chief, Lackey. And now I have a really good goblin to put in if Lackey connects, but I don't expect that to happen. I expect Plow in beginning of combat here to take the haste off of the Lackey. That is, in fact, what happened. Put my 1 damage in. Drawing Sling Gang, this is what I was playing towards when I made that Pile Driver attack earlier. Like, if my opponent was at 9 right now instead of 14, then this reach plan would have been a lot better. Obviously, that's not what happened, but I tried. What do we got here? Narset, Teferi, Monastery Mentor. Much more horrible than all those things. And then the Bauble coming off the Expressive Iteration. At least Munitions Expert can clear Mentor. Ooh, big money. Someone's getting their gang slang here. Black. I guess I have to use the Cavern for both of these because Cavern doesn't cycle for red. Munitions Expert, get in. Shoot the Mentor. Yes, I would like to use the ability. Wise Guy. Cycle. Kill this Monk. Okay. That was pretty sick. Now I get to Unless there's like Solitude involved here. I get to put Sling Gang Lieutenant into play, which does powerful things to a damage race. Got a big here we go from Min in the chat. It's not Muxus, sorry. Only 4 mana worth of value, not 6. The Ponder. So now it's Min's job to answer this board without suddenly dying. And Sling Gang's gain life clause on it is actually a huge deal, because being at 13 life is very different than being at 12 life on this board. Another Murktide, a Snapcaster Mage, all those things can just nuke the race. But we've got a shot here. This Aether Vial is not what I wanted to find at this phase of the game. The first Ponder didn't shuffle. This is the second Ponder. I wonder if the first Ponder found this Ponder. Yeah, there was a fetch in between. That would make sense. If Ponder found Ponder and then fetched a shuffle for 3 fresh looks rather than 1. Shuffled and then played another Ponder. Okay. Chose to shuffle on that Ponder as well. Now we're brainstorming. Somebody's on a mission, and I suspect it's to find a second Murktide. Like, second Murktide and then attack for 11 right now is not lethal. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take 4. Take 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who predict? Already made his land drop. This isn't looking good for Min over there. Not sure what he's even looking for at this point. Yeah, how does this combat work? If I attack with everything that isn't Sling Gang Lieutenant, he blocks 1, takes 5 because I sack that one, and then goes to 5, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other goblins. Yeah, he's just dead on board, right? It seems to be the case. Plus the Skirk Prospector in my hand is another damage. And any goblin I draw is another damage. We don't have to worry about that, apparently. Okay, I'm just going to attack with all my non-Sling Gang creatures. In they come. Has to have Solitude or some similar thing. I'm going to shoot you with Goblin Lackey. After block before damage. You go to 5. Then I'll play Skirk Prospector, just for good measure. And then unleash the cannon. There it is. Taste it out. Little aggro, little combo. Forget about Murktide Regent. Okay, so all these red blasts are coming in. Pyrokinesis deals 4 damage. That doesn't seem like enough. The Monastery Mentor is kind of a beating. Eli specifically told me Chalice is not for fair blue decks with lots of cantrips. You don't want to play Chalice on 1. What you want to do is bring that in as kind of a proactive Mindbreak Trap against decks with Lion's Eye Diamond in them. It's basically always going to be on 0. I imagine there might be some weird fringe matchups where you want to think about it a little bit more than that, but in general, it is not for these sorts of decks. Okay, what is also not for these sorts of decks? They're not going to have artifacts. I don't know that I need Trash Master specifically as a way to make goblins bigger, because they're not going to have Plague Engineer either. Fury seems great against Monastery Mentor. Matron's good. Munitions Expert was pretty clutch there, but how much stock do I want to put on removing Mentor? Probably a lot. Oh god, what do I do here? I guess lots of white removal and white blockers. Pile Driver seems a little sus. Matron seems important. Fable of the Mirror Breaker is a counterable card all the time. Like, it's not a enchantment dash goblin tribal enchantment. I think I like the ringleader advantage. Muxus seems like exactly where you want to take this game. Maybe this isn't a War Marshal matchup because I'm not really blocking at all, though that does do cool mana things with the Skirk Prospector. I have low confidence that this is what an expert would do, but it's what I've done. Let's try it. Basically, the way I feel about this matchup, having played the other side much more often, is if they can't kill me, I'm going to win, which seems weird to take that answer all their threats posture as the creature deck, but they have so few creatures, and I can nickel and dime for like 1 and 2 here and there. If they're not murking or mentoring. They're not really doing anything. There's no landers a mulligan, obviously. I can keep this one. I do love Ringleader, but I think 3 is too many. This hand's pretty cool because it can answer a threat. We did see a Dragon's Rage Channeler over there, so this is a lower to the ground kind of Jeskai thing. It's the bauble predict DRC business all around. Gonna play this fetch land and pass. Holding on to bauble. Someone's got to predict. Brainstorm. Bauble can also set up Terminus, which is really annoying. I'm not going to crack the fetch because I actually do want to draw lands. Don't want to thin them out. Now that's awkward. I'm going to use Rishadenport this turn. And I'm going to get bad lands to do it. I don't really expect this opponent to mess with my mana too much. Though they are kind of a low to the ground version. There could be wastelands in this deck. Just going to hope that there's not. I'm going to port right now before they draw the bauble card. I think if they draw a Brainstorm or some good way to use that mana. I don't even know that that would happen here. Like, I would not Brainstorm in response to that. I'd take my draw step because I still have blue to cast it. I'm extremely interested in a land here. I have War Marshal plus Prospector, which is like Rite of Flame. I could get something good going. That Channeler kind of sucks. Bummer. I think this thing is going to do me in eventually, but I got to get on board. I think I'm going to take the L on Sudden Edict and Dragon's Rage Channeler and just try to put War Marshal into play, get some material on the board. Channeler gets to connect here. Yeah, game 1 where I had Aether Vial and Cavern compared to this game where I just have 2 lands and no particular protection. Night and day. And this Channeler is insulating the Murktide in a way that's really annoying. It kind of looked like he was lining up a Prismatic Ending, then changed his mind, because this War Marshal is just going to die anyway. Like, he tapped 2 mana, and then untapped it. Okay. Went for the ending all the same. Got Redelirium immediately. Missions Expert. Pain in my ass. Okay. What can I even do here? I could play Matron if I sack my... Like, if I go... Prospector, sack Goblin, make a mana, sack Goblin. I could trade my whole board basically to Matron, and for what? Oh, this is ugly. I could play Prospector. I think I just want to clear one of these threats out of here. Get the Channeler out of the mix. The deck does have 4 Pyroblasts in it. This just didn't come together. Turn 4, missed my land drop twice. Heresy's in the graveyard. Opponent still has 4 cards in hand. Bad news all around. But we do have the good news that Pyroblast kills this Murktide Regent. And then I can start to move forward maybe. But this looks pretty bad. I can't imagine mulligan to a Cavern or Vial is the plan. Like, I think the keep was fine. It just hasn't panned out. Oof. It's a lot of threats. And they all are flying. 6, 7, 8, 9. I could Cavern and Matron for something, or I can concede. Like, those are the 2 options here. I'm just going to go to the next game. Me being at 1, assuming they can't do anything, like no Mystic Sanctuary, no Snapcaster Mage, no second Murktide. And even if I survive the turn, I just like Matron for something and still die to the other flyer. Yeah, that didn't work. I wonder if I'm supposed to Leyline against this deck. Like, taking Murktide out of the equation and making DRC suck are both of interest to me. But I'm not going to mulligan for it and casting it in the mid game. Even though, like, we are a black deck, we can cast it in the mid game. Eli did give me some interesting advice, which was against Delver. He cuts the Ringleaders and Muxus because he wants to be more aggressive and get up under them before Expressive Iteration gets online, and you're boarding in a ton of non-goblin spells, which makes Ringleader worse. And in that world, like, I thought this was Jeskai control with like a Murktide. I didn't give it the full respect that it probably deserved in game 1. Like, I think Unlicensed Hearse comes in, I want my Fable back, and I haven't seen a basic land yet, but I imagine this deck can just Lightning Bolt a Magus of the Moon. I kind of want to leave 1 Muxus in. Eli mentioned against the slower predict builds of Delver that he leaves in 1 Muxus. And I kind of like that for this, which is not really Delver, but kind of feels like it in a lot of ways. Do I want this War Marshal? It really doesn't do anything. Oh, right. I got to put 2 cards in here because this is a 61 card deck, and that is on purpose. I didn't ask about that because I didn't notice when we were chatting, but this is a 61 card deck, and he submitted 61 for the showcase challenge, so that is a choice. Okay, War Marshal's back in just as like I had that Skirk Prospector for most of the game and nothing to feed to it while I choked out on mana. Now we're cooking. Turn 1, Cavern, Lackey, put you to the test. Goblin, Lackey, straight out of Urza Saga. Let's go. Turn 1, Lackey on the play. This deck has Swords of Plowshares and Prismatic Ending in it, so I'm not like, you're dead, but it is the test. Pass the test. Ooh, Rashadenport, interesting. I think I want to do that instead of putting this Prospector into play. Like, leaving a mana unspent kind of sucks. And to, like, put this creature on board when my grip is full of 3-drops. Okay, red mana, Ponder. You got it. I think I'm going to War Chief and Crunch this turn, or I could Matron. Ooh. I'd also just get in the car. I could also Skirk Prospector and Rashadenport. That doesn't seem like the worst thing that's ever happened. I think I want to get my car online. Are there Force of Wills left in your deck? Doesn't seem like it. I'm going to exile these spells immediately before they can be used for anything. And I'm going to play this Uncounterable Prospector. I like any sequence that lets me tap all my mana in the turn. Big fan of everything that just happened. Control the Murktides, control the DRCs. Ponder, yeah, that might put 2 more things in my car. Did not shuffle. Found a Flooded Strand. Ooh, Pyroblast, what's up? Cavern of Souls, get in there. Name Goblin. I exile this graveyard immediately. I want to give them nothing. And I think I want to spend a turn setting up Matron. Matron for Slinging seems pretty good here. I could also War Chief and attack. I think I want to set things up nice and slow here, though. This is where I would get Ring later, but I boarded them all out. So let's look at what the options are. Munitions Expert, and pick off this DRC. Slinging Lieutenant is one of the more powerful things I can do with 4 mana right now. I already have a War Chief. Pile Driver gets blocked. I don't have a sack outlet for Pashalik. I am actually 1 mana away from Muxus with the Prospector, but I think I want to Sling Gang. I don't want to offer a trade of Skirk Prospector for Dragon's Rage Channeler. I feel like I could use this mana eventually. Oh, I actually had 6 mana with the Matron, but tutoring up Muxus just to be miles away to after any removal spell, and we boarded one out because I boarded out many goblins for many non-goblins. It has big miss potential. Holding up Pyroblast feels good, and I can sack a goblin to make it happen. Like, if I tap out my mana next turn, I still am holding up Pyroblast. Predict. I bet he's gonna guess right. Yep, you surveil, keep the card on top. Just look at the top card of your deck in response to Predict. Just good deck building. Buried a Force of Will. Okay, Force of Will is still in the deck. Or it was in some number. And now Mystic Sanctuary's online, so I have to be a little more judicious with my car. Unless he just goes fetch, put Predict on top right now. I guess I also could have Pyroblasted Predict. Is that the level of aggression I should be pursuing here? Interesting. Probably not. I think I just want to save Pyroblast for exclusively Murktide Regent. If I believe that if I don't die, I will win eventually. But that plan also requires pushing damage. I can push damage starting next turn. Like Goblin Matron, I'm very willing to attack with. Here's the fetch. Are we looking at the top of the deck now, or just setting up mana? Okay, got the white source. Hydroblasting my Prospector. I'm going to make red mana with that because I can. Red in the pool. Fizzle your spell. Not going to give you the satisfaction. This bobble's pretty good. That's Delirium at instant speed if he wants it, but I can remove Delirium at instant speed with Hearse. Okay. Going for the aggressive line. Respectable. Okay. Let's go to my turn. You draw for bobble. Schadenport. Okay. Rishadenport. I could Sling Gang here, leaving up Pyroblast. Or I could War Chief, leaving up Port. Don't know what is going to happen for 4 mana. That wouldn't happen for 3. I'm just going to Sling my Gang in there. I like all these bodies. If I can get a trade off with DRC in combat by taking them off Delirium mid-combat, that's pretty cool. Now the graveyard's so stocked. Like, the first 2 times I activated Hearse, it was just the 2 cards in the graveyard. Oof, Pyroclasm. That's good shit. I'm gonna let the Delirium trigger resolve. And then I guess I will Sling my Gang at him. DRC is gonna die here too because of the car. The way you do this is you let Pyroclasm resolve. And then with the 2 damage on it, I'm gonna exile the artifact and I guess predict. Or I'm going to take the Pyroclasm. I don't want him regrowing that. And I have Pyroblast for a Murktide Regent if that's the follow-up here. But I am kind of just spinning my wheels. I don't know if this is a Daze deck or what, but I'm going to wait till I untap for the Pyroblast. There we go. Pyroblast resolves. Good shit. It's another Sling Gang. You love to see it. I think I want to crew the car here. Opponent's tapped out a removal. Time to start putting damage on him. 6 is a big crunch here with Sling Gang representing another 3. Murktide Regent's just a 3/3 if it shows up. I have a haste creature in my hand. A lot to like right now. Unlicensed Hearse MVP though, easily. Towards the Plowshares. I think I want to keep the Goblin material in play and just sack the one that they're targeting. You go to 6. I still have 2 power in play and another 6 power hiding in the car. Slamming Murktide here would result in a chump block because Murktide's only a 5/5. About the 1 of Pile Driver. 1 of Pile Driver. Can we get it? Oh, Red Blast is pretty sick too, though. 1, 2, 3. Pile Driver, get in. Or War Chief, whatever you are. This creature, let's go. I'm not going to run my car into Swords to Plowshares. And if they try to plow before combat, I can crew the car in response. Like, plowing in combat is the way to go. The haste isn't doing anything else. Oh, I guess I could have... Oh, I should have ported the Tundra main phase. Yeah, I fucked this up. If I port Tundra main phase, then opponent can't plow. And then we move to combat, burn off the floating mana, crew the 6/6. Yeah, I might have messed this one up. Willing to believe it. Yeah, I think I had a pretty likely win there. I don't think there's a red card that gets played that would have answered my Hearse. Did have the plow. Okay. I think Rishadenport is better than Red Elemental Blast here. I'm going to go after a white source in case there's something like Supreme Verdict in the deck. White is the removal color. I can line up the play this turn that I should have made last turn of tap a white now, untap, tap a white. In my upkeep even, I can go into my main phase knowing if they have any white mana to function on. Something like Prismatic Ending one of the Goblin tokens kind of annoying here, because then I can't crew the car. Iteration. Okay, here we go. We got the GGs in the chat. I missed lethal, but looks like we're getting away with it anyway. Yeah, my brain was caught in the balance of, do I leave up Pyroblast on opponent's turn or do I port on opponent's turn, that I miss the, what I actually think is a pretty clean and obvious line of port main phase. I think anyone who's played Goblins like more recently than a year ago would have seen that line a mile away. But I found it eventually and went unpunished. 1-0. Let's keep it going. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I'm on the play in round 2 with the most perfect hand that I could ask for. I'm going to keep and hope that they are a deck that can't answer this lackey. I'm going to try to put a Muxus amongst us. There it is. Let me do this once for the camera. We'll let Cloud Pose into play tapped or some shit. Alright, Underground Sea. Thoughtseize could mess me up. But most Underground Sea decks don't have removal main. Okay, JK. This must be Grixis and not something like Doomsday. Whatever it is. Fuck your land. Since I have another 1 mana play to make, I am happy to fire off the Wasteland there. If I didn't draw Wasteland, I probably... Or if I didn't have a way to spend 1 mana, I might have just committed to the War Marshal instead. Alright, yeah, good Thoughtseize. Disappointing. I was so excited. I really wanted to just, like, combo out Doomsday. But instead, we're playing an interactive game. Boring. Okay, they took the War Marshal with Thoughtseize, just betting that the Muxus is too far away to matter. Probably true. Yep, we've got Grixis control. This is not a matchup that I'd want to play against as Goblins. Most blue control decks are fine, like you have plenty of tools, but this is a deck that's gonna have Plague Engineer in it, post board, maybe even main deck. They've got Fury if it's built in the way that I've been really enjoying building Grixis lately. My most updated list has 2 Furies in it. Come on. It's very smart to have discard spells in your control deck, and this is why. You can't answer everything that comes to the board, and being able to do something like Thoughtseize your opponent before their creatures arrive. Because both of the things they Thoughtseized would have had ETB triggers that left value behind. Alright, I'm going to play another Cavern. I keep naming Goblin. The good news is, we're getting there on Muxus. Brainstorm, that sucks. They just put so many counterspells back into their deck off this Brainstorm. Those 3 Caverns and Vial. I'm ready for anything, I just need to draw the thing. Now there's an interesting question of, do I float Vial on 3? Do I get it up to 4 and stop there? Do I try to get it up to 6? I think I'll draw a land before I get Vial up to 6. The Vial on 4 is pretty potent. I think I want it on 4. Alright, let's see what happens here. I'm going to get Vial up to 4. Because that gives me Ringleader. Hey, get wrecked. Speak of the devil. Put in Ringleader. Let's see how we do. Just another Ringleader. Not mad about it. 3 non-goblins to the bottom. I'm going to play this Mountain out. In case I draw a 1-mana goblin, I want Cavern untapped. Let's get another crack at this. Oh, come on, you fucker. Okay. 4 non-goblins to the bottom. Somebody do the math. Somebody call Frank Karsten. Tell me how unlucky I am. I am going to trade off here. Like, reducing their life total is important to me. We talked about that with the last round as well. Like, Sling Gang Commander, or Sling Gang Lieutenant, hasn't been promoted yet. Can arrive and do nasty things to a low life total. I think I'm going to leave Vial on 4. Just, it'll take me 2 turns to Muxus. Oh, they're going to Thoughtseize it anyway. Alright. Fair enough. Yeah, they've cast 3 Thoughtseizes this game. They've dealt 6 damage to themselves with that, plus the fetch lands. That's a bold attack. Alright, come on. Matron or something off the top. Something that gets this going. Oh, Pile Driver's not bad. Nor is it good, but I will put it into play. Them having black removal in their deck kind of sucks, but it does punk this Baleful Strix and the Snapcaster Mage. Matron is good, the last Ringleader is good, Pashalik or Sling Gang are both good. Quilligan's Command puts me in the Shadow Realm right now. Hidatsugu Consumes All is kind of annoying, but not a big deal, it just hits the Vial. And they care about their graveyard more than I do. Sudden Edict. I'm losing the Ringleader. Easily. Easy choice there. Pile Driver's the one that can keep poking for damage. Yeah, this is a deck full of removal and card advantage. Okay, attacking with both creatures. No respect for haste. I hope I can punish. Something good. Not a goblin, but also is a goblin. Is there a counterspell in your hand that you can use here? Okay, here is this Goblin Boy. Doesn't have haste, but it is cool that the token gets all the boosts from Munitions Expert and Gem Palm Incinerator and War Chief and Trash Master. This token could be like anything. Could be like a 2/2 Spirit, and it's much worse in the deck, but it's a Goblin, so we get to use it. Okay, leaving back Baleful Strix. Okay, let's see if I'm gonna end up looting my card away or if it's a good one. Draw for turn. Oh, Matron. I am not looting that card away. Nope, keep them all around. I think I Matron for the last Ringleader here. Matron? Yes. Are there only 3 Ringleaders in the deck? What's going on? Yep, there are. Okay, I'm out of those. I have to make a different choice. It's probably just Sling Gang then. I could get... I tapped wrong to get Incinerator. That was not on my radar. Probably just want Sling Gang then. Though Trash Master does kill Baleful Strix. I want to go wide here. Yeah. And the 4-drop coming out of the vial is pretty great. Do I want to trade this 2/2 for Baleful Strix? Probably. Yeah, that's fine. Those are both 2-for-1s. Everybody's happy. I wonder at what point I'm supposed to put this Sling Gang Lieutenant in. They wouldn't want to really use removal on anything else. I'm just trying to think of, like, if I activate Vial and they kill Matron, that's a point of damage I don't get, but they want to save that removal spell for the Lieutenant, so that doesn't even make sense. Oh, wow. They're just like, can't beat Sling Gang. Ah! Sick. All right, that felt awful for the first couple turns and then just came together. All right. A bunch of blue card or anti-blue cards are coming in here. Trash Master, I gotta imagine that Baleful Strix is one of the expressed intentional targets of that card in the deck. Fable was pretty good. Pile Driver is very good. They have a lot of removal. Crater Maker can kill a Strix. War Marshal can push through a Strix. Munition Expert kill Strix. I feel like they're gonna have a lot of sweepers, and something like Skirk Prospector probably won't have a lot of material to feed. Gotta respect Plague Engineer now as well. You just max out on Pyrokinesis when you expect Plague Engineer. Is that what Sudden Edict is for? Yeah, Sudden Edict seems really bad against the Baleful Strix deck. Probably want some large number of Kinesis. Ringleader seems great. I'm bringing in a lot of non-goblins though, but like also... Yeah, that's tough to balance, bringing in this many non-goblins. Maybe I'm not bringing in this many non-goblins though. Like, we saw Snapcaster Mage and Baleful Strix as blue cards that I don't really want to tangle with, but there's no like Murktide Regent in this deck that is just going to kill me on its own. I'm much more worried about the black cards. I like all the tutor stuff. Opposition Agent is pretty funny, but I don't think that's what this is for, and I'm not going to get too cute. Pile Driver, it just seems great. I think Fable, I get a chop here, and is it a Muxus? Like, I have more goblins in the deck now than I did last round. Ringleader value chains seem important to catch up here. I'm going to try it like this, just respecting the shit out of Plague Engineer. Okay, risky business here. I like everything that's going on, except the fact that I have 1 land and it doesn't cast my spells. I'm going to keep. I'm on the draw. I have Aether Vial. 23 lands to draw 2 here. Oh, right, they're a Thoughtseize deck. See you later, Aether Vial. It was nice knowing you. I don't know if I can Wasteland here. Do I want to... I don't think I want to try to cheese when this Wasteland could be the difference between me moving my game plan forward or not. Awkward. Alright, deck, red source. Nope. I've done nothing to deserve it. Did not consider Thoughtseize when I snapped off that keep. EI. Uh-oh. And they found the land off of EI. Easy game. Named Goblin. I think I want to start with War Marshal. That one gets clowned by Plague Engineer, but I have the Fury. I don't want to run Pile Driver straight into this open mana Fatal Push. Another EI, okay. I actually can't pay for a War Marshal. That's funny. Cavern doesn't make red for Echo. It only makes red to cast goblins, not to pay for additional costs of goblin triggered abilities. At least I don't have to think about it. That's good news. I honestly probably would have paid for War Marshal, just trying to maximize for keeping things around. Because I have the 2 Sling Gangs and the 2 shooty creatures that all care about how many goblins I have. Attack with this one. I'm gonna put in Crater Maker. That one isn't as spicy as Pile Driver. So like if they have 1 Fatal Push, they might not want to send it over there, but it answers Plague Engineer on its own. The 3rd expressive iteration of the game. My god. They have no shortage of cards. That is for sure. Exiling Thoughtseize is really interesting. I'm like completely stuffed on mana anyway. Like this barely matters. What they take will tell me about what their hand does. Like if they just have a bunch of counter spells, no removal or awkward removal or whatever, they'll take Pile Driver. If they're trying to work towards a Plague Engineer game, they're just out of luck because 4 of the cards in my hand, or 3 of the cards in my hand answer that card. I guess that's not true. It's only the Fury, and I have the Plague Engineer or the Crater Maker in play. They left me with Fury, so they're not worried about that. Taking Incinerator is really interesting. I can't even activate that card. Are they trying to put a Strix in front of me here? Lightning Bolt. Okay. They are posturing their way towards a Plague Engineer is what's going on. Oh, do they have Gurmag Angler? The way that this Moto is interacting right now looks like they're delving. They do. That's fun. Okay. Yeah, that's a big idiot that I cannot beat straight up. Okay, I'm not just going to run into a Gurmag Angler. I'm going to play the spell I can play here. They're not winning the damage race if this Gurmag attacks. If they back it up with Plague Engineer, then they're suddenly in pretty good shape. Yeah, there it is. That was only a matter of time. We knew they were playing it, and they are 21 cards into their deck at this point. Plus 3 cards that they've seen on the bottom. Like 24 cards into the deck. Have they saved a counterspell for Fury is the question mark. Ooh, Pyrokinesis, that's interesting. I think I want to pitch Munitions Expert, because that's just really not doing anything. Pitching the Pyrokinesis covers a lot of bases here. Trash Master. I'm going to pitch Trash Master, actually. I'm really far away from doing that, and it's not even the best 4-drop in my hand. Okay, they do have a Force of Will for that. Fair enough. I don't really need to Pyrokinesis now. I could just to push damage. Alright, I'll do it. I don't think I'm winning this game if I'm just farting around waiting for a perfect opportunity to do something. I'm going to poke for my 1 damage here and try to get a Sling Gang grind fest going. Sling Gang embarrasses Gurmag Angler. Like, seriously. Still can't wasteland my opponent. They have 6 lands. That's not even going to do anything. Okay, Sudden Edict. Alright, now Gurmag's looking pretty good. If I run a runner lands and they don't do anything, I can still win this game. Because I go to 10, draw a land, go to 5, draw a land, put Sling Gang in front of it, then they can never do anything. Snapcaster EI, the 4th expressive iteration of the game. I'm in danger. Once again, mana problems coming up as an L here. But I kept a hand that was just ice cold to Thoughtseize, so I can't be mad at anyone about that. 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright. Give myself the draw step, I guess. 8 damage. Dead to Lightning Bolt. Okay, they had another Snapcaster. You got it. Okay, so seeing 2 Snapcasters and Gurmag Angler in this build, I'm just become interested in Unlicensed Hearse. Okay, the Pyroblasts, the Hearst, Sudden Edict just looks a lot better now too. Opposition Agent is a rogue. Does rogue overlap with any of my goblins? Just a goblin. Warrior. 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 Just a goblin. Warrior. Warrior. Goblin. Not casting that one. Warrior. Goblin. And goblin. Okay, nope. If I were to put a Cavern on human or rogue, it would be the only thing that gets Opposition Agent into play. I'm interested in Unlicensed Hearse. Don't think I want Sudden Edict. I'm going to cut one of these Pyrokineses. That gives me Crater Maker, Fury, 1 Pyrokinesis to answer. Plague Engineer. Seems pretty low. Yeah, that card just seems like such a big problem. Munitions Expert doesn't function with Crater Maker or with Plague Engineer in play. I'll switch that back into Pyrokinesis. Okay, do not F around and find out with sketchy hands in the Thoughtseize matchup. Lesson learned. Nope. Mulligan that one. Here we go. I'm gonna keep this, and I think bottom Pyroblast. And Pyroblast fighting over a counterspell would be big, but I want to hit my land drops more than anything in this matchup. Yeah, I'm gonna send the Pyroblast. This curving out creatures here is pretty exciting. My opponent also mulled to 6 so far. Okay, they stopped at 6. Fortunately, don't have the Cavern to go with this, but here's Lackey. It's in there. Fatal Push, Lightning Bolt, or Bust. Cast Ponder. Cast Ponder! Please cast Ponder. Oh no, black mana. My nemesis. That gets so much removal. Okay, I can pile up drivers, pun intended, or port them. I want to port them when I'm already on board. Already exposed to anything that would mess with non-basic lands, which I don't think they really play. Grixis can play Blood Moon, but it's usually for decks that are much more dedicated to their land base. Like, I can function on a deck full of mountains here. A lot better than they can, probably. Matron, okay. Get my port into play. I just want to put the pile on and then start porting them. I hope they Thoughtseize me again. Gurmag Angler kind of messes this plan up. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're not quite at Angler yet. Baleful Strix and Snapcaster don't slow me down here. Or Snapcaster can cast Fatal Push, so that actually slows me down a lot. Plague Engineer is fine, I just like slam into it. Son of a bitch. There's this asshole. Yeah, maybe that Pyroblast was worth keeping, but like, it wouldn't know that I drew the land to make it happen. I don't know. You smartass. Okay. I'm going to attack my opponent's life points directly. Not winning this race right now. I'm on a 10 turn clock. They're on a 14 turn clock. I am going to start porting. I think I'm going to attack black-red. That's the removal colors. And leaving the islands up incentivizes casting blue cards, which I can Pyroblast. I would blast an Expressive Iteration here. Oh, some 3-mana spell. Plague Engineer me with 1 card in my hand. Kick me while I'm down. Is that what's happening here? Oh, even worse. Gurmag Angler, also not beatable. I'm going to fetch. I don't want to draw lands at this point. How about a Ringleader? You stupid asshole. My deck. Didn't have this in time for Snapcaster Mage, and now just bleeding out to this giant black creature. Sling Gang's good. That beats Gurmag Angler for a long time. I am going to counter this Baleful Strix. I don't really want them getting on board or cantripping at all. Snapcaster can't attack because I have a pro-blue creature. I'm going to leave that Snapcaster there. Save this Pyroblast in case I need a better target. A Wasteland. Can't take them off any colors. Or I can take them off red. Okay. I'm going to hit the Volcanic Island and port the Badlands on their turn. Gotta figure out something to do about this Gurmag Angler pretty soon, though. Not going to fight over this Brainstorm. I don't think that's the spot. Port the Badlands. Sudden Edict. Alright, suddenly. Okay, I am going to blast the Snapcaster Mage now, because this 2 damage changed it from a 3-turn clock to a 2-turn clock. They have 1 card in hand. Sling Gang off the top, come on. Guess I shouldn't have played that, because I'm going to be at 1 this turn. Grixis is a tough one. Alright, now Sling Gang. I'm just on no outs here. Okay. Yeah, Gurmag Angler is a really nice threat to have in the Grixis deck. I have Fury at the top end in my Grixis build, which comes down a lot later, obviously. It's devastating when it does, but just having this quick clock in the Grixis build makes a lot of sense. We're going nowhere fast here. Yeah, I messed up game 2 by keeping the hand that just folds the Thoughtseize. But this deck is literally mono removal spells on 2-for-1s, and they have multiple different versions of sweepers, including the Plague Engineer. Rough matchup. On to the next one. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I am on the play in round number 3, and something really interesting is happening here. I'm keeping this hand, of course. I can lead on Lackey and just hope it sticks. Or I can lead on Vial, port my opponent's mana, Vial in Lackey, and try to connect for a turn 3 connection. I think that's actually better. And I'm going to try it. I'm going to grab the Badlands, because if they force Vial and waste Badlands, I'm in trouble. But if they only waste Badlands in the face of Aether Vial, that's just bad legacy magic. Ooh, Fiery Islet. Yeah, I was going to say that's either the worst land in some weird Is It brew or a combo deck. Looks like we got some Dredge on the horizon. Well, my master plan of taking it slow, immediately fucking punished. Cannot catch a break here. I believe I am still going to stick to that plan. Like porting this Islet before they can draw an extra card and get an extra Dredge this turn, or fire off a Breakthrough or whatever. They missed on Narcomoeba. Oh, they have another looting. My life is shit. There's a Narcomoeba. Yep. This would have been one to just slam fucking Lackey into play on turn 1. I tried to get clever, and we're doing this instead. And they have 2 Bridge from Belows, 2 Therapies. This game is unwinnable. I'm out. That's not a tilt scoop. We're just literally cannot win. Probably could have spent some time learning more about their deck, but not interested. I'm out. Okay. Surgical Extraction coming in. Leyline of the Void coming in. Unlicensed Hearse coming in. Don't expect any searching, Pyrokinesis, whatever. Red Blast. They might have some breakthroughs and stuff, but I don't really think that's how we're going to win this game. Fury can put itself in the graveyard if you evoke it. Sling Gang, like, blowing up their bridges is a big part of this matchup. This could be a Lion's Eye Diamond deck as well, depending on their build. With the Faithless Lootings, I'm going to expect LED and bring in the Chalice. I'm bringing in 5 non-goblins. Trashmaster, you actually do need a target to activate this. You can't just chuck your goblins in the graveyard. Prospector is great at nuking bridges. Where are the chops? Probably a Muxus. We're not really grinding here on Ringleader. I like 1 Muxus for the Lackey high roll possibility, and now that I know, like, if I had led on Lackey, we might have been competitive that game. Raider Maker can put itself in the graveyard. Pile Driver can punch through Narcomoebas, but not through zombies. But my plan is to remove the zombies. Fable seems really slow and bad here. Okay, this is what I'm doing, I guess. Let's try it. On the play, nothing that does anything. I'm going to mulligan this. Okay, this hand's actually fucks pretty hard. I'm going to keep it and bottom the basic mountain. I get to put Leyline in and play Lackey. I'm a little worried about Force of Vigor if I lead on Aether Vial. But, like, Vial is better for this plan. I could also just jam Prospector in. All right, I'm going to play Vial. If you have Force of Vigor green card, congratulations. Yeah, this 2-lander, I'm going to eventually need to win the game somehow. Ding. All right, we're just chucking cards into exile here. Desperately digging for outs to Leyline. Vial ticks up. Another Badlands. Cavern on Goblin. I'm going to play the Lackey up front, because that's the worst of my 2 creatures. Like, if they find an answer to Leyline, and like if they go to their turn and go like Nature's Claim and Lion's Eye Diamond Breakthrough or something, Prospector is the one I want to surprise them with from my hand. But me casting Lackey tells them loud and clear that I have something else in the vial. Firestorm, I'm not super worried about right now. And I do want to get this Prospector in. If they Firestorm here, that does give them another target, and it's a good target, but the Leyline is still around. Vial Driver is pretty good. It is on the appropriate curve of Aether Vial here. I'm not even going to put it in off Lackey. If Lackey connects, it's going to act like that's not a Goblin. Surprise them with what I'm capable of next turn. Otherworldly Gaze. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put any number in your graveyard. The rest back on top in any order. Okay. It's kind of like a bad impulse looking for, or bad index, or a good index. Yeah, it's a good index. Careful study. Oh yeah, we're just digging here. Ice cold to the Leyline. That's part of the cheese strat that we signed up for. Every land they play is hurting them even more than my Goblins are. But that's going to change quick because Pile Driver hits like a truck. All right, how about like Matron off the top? If I can Matron for War Chief, that's a lot of damage. Ooh, Pashalik Mons, that's also a lot of damage. 1 mana short of using the ability. Oh, that's not even true. I have Prospector. Yeah, I can do some cool stuff here. Attack with my creatures. Take 7. I still don't want to put Pashalik in because I like the surprise off Aether Vial. I have conveniently just drawn cards that are the correct mana cost to ignore Lackey this whole game. Alright, cool. I'll take a comfy little Leyline hard carry after what happened game 1. Muxus, Ringleader, Magus, Fable, Pyroblast. I didn't see what their answers to a Leyline are. If it is Force of Vigor or Nature's Claim or similar, or Serenity, Pyroblast won't help. If it's Chain of Vapor, Pyroblast is good. But I think I like the idea of just having a little bit of graveyard hate up front and then just mostly creatures still in the deck. Damage to target creature or planeswalker. Okay, so Munitions Expert can also off itself to nuke bridges. I like that. Incinerator doesn't really do that. And you can incinerate a Goblin that's in play already. Just trying to find room for this other Muxus, because high rolling on Lackey seems like a route to victory here. I could cut a Vial. Like, maybe on the draw against Dredge, Aether Vial's really not what we're looking at. Alright, I'm going to try it that way. Okay, I mean, we have the high roll, but I don't think that's good enough. I want to mulligan to 6. So there's this world where if they keep a slow hand, based on what I did with Leyline last game, but I have to put the Lackey into play and then connect with the Muxus over 2 turns. No. Oh god. Hearse. I don't think I can keep my hand on the strength of Hearse. They kept 6. I chase 5 here. Do I want to go to 4 looking for specific graveyard hate? I feel like I kind of have to because this hand's really not doing anything. 4. Okay. Keep and put Mountain, Muxus, and other mountain on the bottom. Don't love that, but I have 2 answers to bridge from below. If they kept a hand that can beat Leyline, damn it. Okay. Alright. Grief, Exiling Cabal Therapy. Gets to strip my Surgical. And now they can do whatever they want for 2 turns as I figure out what Munitions Expert's going to do. They discarded a Stinkweed Imp there. Badlands, go. Alright, give me 1 turn without just going completely apeshit, please. Otherworldly Gaze. I mean, that's good, but tapping the Coliseum means they're not going to activate Coliseum this turn. Ball Therapy in the graveyard. They've seen the Munitions Expert, and I'm sure they know how this works. Ooh, no Dredge. Oh, because they just stacked the top of their deck into Faithless Looting. Yeah, that makes sense. 1, missed the second one, missed the second one, missed the second one. Ooh, they missed. They missed. They are hellbent over there, and I have the ability to nuke bridges. Oh, wow. Maybe next turn. I'm going to Cavern on Goblin here. And I don't expect the Cephalid Coliseum to still be in play next turn, but I can waste it if I need to. Still no Narcomoeba. They're passing the turn. War Chief's pretty cool, but I want to waste this Coliseum right now. Now or never. Use it. Use it or lose it. Okay, they're doing the thing. One. Okay, still didn't hit any Narcomoebas. There is a bridge in there now. An Icarid. Icarid can come out. Come on, dredge some more. Oh, 3 bridges in the graveyard. Now we're cooking. That's the kind of party I'm trying to attend right now. So Icarid gets to connect. Because I actively don't want Icarid to die here. They're gonna sack Cabal Therapy, or sack it to Cabal Therapy here. And I'm gonna Munitions Expert my Munitions Expert in response. Okay, the 3 bridges have triggered. Black, red. I think they've seen the pile driver, right? Yes. Okay, so Munitions Expert kills Munitions Expert. Exile 3 bridges. Only 1 left in the deck, which is plenty, don't get me wrong. I think they've seen this pile driver. How would they have seen the pile driver? Okay, no, they haven't. Why did I think that? I don't know. Okay. We're in scrappy mode now. Oh, right, they griefed, which saw the Munitions Expert, but not the pile driver. That's when they saw my hand. Fair enough. Casting Golgari Thug. Yes, we've pivoted onto this stage of the game. They can Cabal Therapy me again here. See what they're scared of. Like, land off the top, War Chief does a lot of messed up stuff. They just put Wismare on top of the deck. Are you going to cast a 1/3 creature? Or are you worried about me casting Leyline now? Happy to draw a castable spell here. It's also a castable spell that can put itself in the graveyard if it needs to. They milled the Wismare that they just put on top of the deck. They hit Otherworldly Journey, or Otherworldly Gaze, whatever this card is. And there's another one of those in the graveyard as well. So they have stuff to do. Need my life total to hold up here. Therapy gets to clip the War Chief for free. At least I got something into play here. Shao looks pretty sick. I begin the beatdowns. I can clear the last bridge whenever it shows up. I don't know if that's going to be enough to race this Icarid, but it's a thing I can do. They're taking a lot of damage from their own lands over there. All right, the third bridge just hit the last bridge just hit the graveyard. So did a Narcomoeba. They left a card on top. And the way that Crater Maker works is it dies as part of the cost to use its ability. So I can actually kill this Icarid, save 3 damage, and still take care of that last bridge. Deal 2 damage to Icarid. Clear out the bridge on the way through. I think saving 3 damage from the Icarid's better than the 1 permanent damage from Narcomoeba versus the 3 temporary damage. They only have 2 black creatures left in the deck, or left in the graveyard right now. I'm going to start flashing back lootings, spending 3 life apiece for the pleasure. Trying to get Narcomoeba beatdown going. Right, there's a Hogak, but without Bridge from Below, it's really hard to get that card into play. Oh. They can escape 2 Icarids next turn. Yeah, they're actually just set on this Hogak that I have basically no out to. Let's look at this graveyard together. Stinkweed Imp, Golgari Thug. Yeah, they can get the 2 Icarids out. They don't get an attack. They get to make Hogak. And then on the following turn, I'm just wrecked. Okay. Yeah, this one's falling apart. I did what I could here, but I'm a land short of really functioning. Maybe that Wasteland early on felt good at the time, but now kind of stings. There's the 3 remaining Narcomoebas, and now they can just put Hogak into play, stop dredging, and win the game. Even like Mogwar Marshal doesn't do what I needed to here. Oh wow, they didn't Hogak me. I'm at 6. And there are 2 other black creatures in the graveyard. Yeah, it doesn't matter. They don't need to Hogak me. My Surgical Extraction is already gone. Unlicensed Hearse. Interesting. Okay, is there a way to wiggle around this? I don't think that there is. They only need 1 Icarid to come into play. Where were you last turn, you asshole? Okay. 3 Icarids will trigger. If I let them Yeah, it doesn't matter. I would have to exile 4 cards from graveyards to make Icarid not lethal this turn. Oh, wait. I can Fury all these Narcomoebas, take that damage off the board, and then work through the Icarids. Okay, Unlicensed Hearse. So you're saying there's a chance. And then evoke Fury, pitching Pashalik. Wipe out all these Narcos. Let's take you down. And if I exile the Icarids themselves, then there's going to be 1 left. 1 Icarid's not enough to bring Hogak into play. This is actually tight. Yeah, I want to see them Otherworldly Gaze, or do they have 4 Icarids, I guess is the question. They left all of the cards in there. I'm going to go to their upkeep. 3 Icarids trigger. I'm going to exile 2 of them. This, they can get 1 into play, attack me down to 3. 1 Icarid's not enough to convoke Hogak. But they declined the 3rd Icarid. What's the plan here? Like, they could have brought out Icarid, stacked a Golgari Thug on top, cast Hogak that way, and won the game. But it's going to be really hard to get Hogak into play without that Icarid. Yeah, Eli told me in our chat that Fury's in the deck specifically to kill 4 Narcomoebas. That's what the technology is for. That is not true. I imagine I might be the first Goblins player to ever do that in history. Okay, can I get any kind of follow-up here? No. If I exile Hogak and Icarid, it's going to be really hard for them to win. Okay, we go to your turn. And Icarid trigger on the stack. Exile the Icarid and the Hogak. Get rid of those. I should have played this land. There's no reason to have it in my hand. I'm just like focused, laser focused on not dying. They can't really spend mana because they're at 2 and every land hurts them. I'm on a 5 turn clock and there's 3 cards in their deck. Trash Master. Awful stuff. Any 2-power cruise the car and I can bash. There's nothing in the graveyard I need to eat urgently. At this Stinkweed Imp's not going to get there on its own. We haven't seen a Creeping Chill. Otherworldly Gaze, I can exile that, and Faithless Looting's uncastable at this point. I'll exile Stinkweed Imp in case there's another Icarid. Okay. Matron. She's a little too small to crew the car. She is a creature, though. Oh my god. Goblins Hall of Fame. Fury, put it in your deck. That was awesome. I did not think we were winning that one. I think if my opponent had put Hogak into play on that turn where they could have, I would have had absolutely no outs whatsoever. But they did not do that. So, GG. Easy, apparently. Every little decision matters. On to the next round. I'm on the play in round 4 with a mega slow one, but it does have 2 Wastelands Aether Vial. I'm going to keep. Like, this is the kind of hand that can just beat up the opponent's mana as Vial ticks up inevitably. Oh, Chancellor of the Annex, cool. Well, that's not what's going to happen here. Wish I had GoblinLackey to just punch through the Chancellor trigger. I guess I will play this Wasteland and pass. The no fun zone. Opponent's on 6. One of the cards in their hand is a Chancellor. Okay. Pass them the turn. Okay, Cavern Goblin gives away what I'm doing. I could play the other Wasteland and just pay for the Vial tax. We are through the bubble here. I mean, this probably gives them just carte blanche to go off here. If they get Archon, they probably can't win. They got Grizzlebrand, which is also bad. But there are fast and loose possibilities that get me away with this game, maybe. Reanimate Grizzlebrand. They can activate it once. Okay, just passing the turn here. Vial, tick up, please. Goblin, Matron. Alright, Cavern Goblin. Matron, get in there. This Matron's just going to have to get Lackey. And then when I Vial in Lackey, the other Matron's going to have to get Muxus and hope to connect next turn, I guess. Yeah, there's no, like, Graveyard Goblin here. I'm going to get Lackey, try to slide it through this cavern. They're going to have a lot of discard spells here. And if they follow up with, like, anything, I'm in trouble. They need to mess this up, basically, or I need to get very lucky. But mostly they need to mess up. Oh, Sarah's Emissaries in your deck. Yeah, protection from creatures is pretty good. Okay, do I have an answer to Animate Dead? I can't answer... Oh, but even Animate Dead... Alright, we're dead. Yeah, Animate Dead would also have protection, because it's you and all your permanents, I think. I'll have to read Sarah's Emissary again, but yeah, we were dead there. Shit. Okay, another fast combo deck with the same kind of plan involved. This one I am interested in Opposition Agent, though. Mindbreak Trap plays here better than it did in the previous round. They are a Lotus Petal deck. I imagine if you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound here with the Chalice. Just do anything that you can to slow them down. Incinerator and Munitions Expert do not seem like the plays here. Crater Maker doesn't do anything. Fury seems really bad. I feel like I kind of want a high roll with Muxus, but also I'm boarding in 8 cards that aren't goblins. Ringleader seems slow. Muxus has the win the game potential attached to it. Babel seems way too slow. Also not a goblin, get it out of the deck. And probably chill a little bit on Vials. This game isn't really going to be about Aether Vials. Okay. I guess I will try it this way. Let's go. Hand with no interaction whatsoever. I'm gonna mulligan it. Come on now. Guess we're going to 5. Mulligan. Okay, here we go. Keep this one. I'm gonna send Expert and Matron to the bottom. Or I can Matron for Muxus. Okay, I'm gonna send Muxus and Expert to the bottom. Put in the ley line. Opponent's also on 5 cards. Let's hope they're bad. Land go. Lotus Petal. That Chalice would have been good. Okay, what are we doing here? Turn 1 Serenity. Thoughtseize, okay. Taking a Matron. They can reanimate one of my Matrons if they just need to do something with their cards at some point. I doubt they have any cool goblins to search up, though. Okay. I'd love to draw a land, get this party started. Nope. Never possible. They're also not doing anything, though. Okay, it is possible after all. It's a Christmas miracle. Do I want to Matron or get Pashalik in? Probably want a Matron, would be my guess. Or what is my follow-up question? Do I just Matron for Lackey, try to set up a big payoff later? Or do I get War Chief and try to really party? I'm going to play Matron. Let's find out. Let's look at this deck. Sling Gang's pretty good. That's also a really good card for them to reanimate if they Thoughtseize reanimate me. It might just be War Chief. Just start bringing the pain and make everything cheaper. Yeah, I'm going to get War Chief. Fetching in the end step. I hope that doesn't mean they have a removal spell. They have 4 mana. Could start hardcasting Griefs. That didn't happen. Ooh, that's fun. Trash Master versus War Chief. War Chief. If I draw a land, I get both of those cards next turn. 3, 4, 5, yeah. Alright, I'm gonna War Chief. Invest in the future. Get in there now. Cracking a fetch land again. They find the Serenity. Or is it Wear Tear? A Rip Apart. Cool. I could die right now. Great. Just like that. Archon of Cruelty. Is that card actually better than the Emissary? Like, can I just literally never beat that card? I can't beat this card either. Right, I'll sack Matron and lose Trash Master here. I can draw Sudden Edict. That is a card in my deck that could make this game last another turn. Okay, Goblin Lackey and Pashalik Mons can come into play here. My opponent gets to attack me for effectively 8 damage this turn. I'll sack the Lackey to the Archon trigger. In lots of trouble, but I guess racing is not completely impossible right now. Here's the attack. Lose the lackey. They take 1 from Pashalik. And I take 5. Is there a follow-up? Faithless Looting. I hope they miss on that one. Just like discard 2 disenchants. And then let me have my turn. God, what is this shit? Dawn Glade Regent. Never seen this card. Become the Monarch. As long as you're the Monarch permanents you control of Hexproof. Oh, that's pretty cool. Come on, big goblin to win the game. That wasn't the big goblin to win the game. I can wasteland their red source. Attack for 4. Their attack is going to put me to 1. I can sack Warchief in response to the Archon trigger, which puts 2 goblins into play. Or do I need Warchief? I think my only out is Sudden Edict. So in response to this, activate Pashalik. I'm going to sack the Warchief. Deal 1 to my opponent. Make 2 goblins. Sack one of them, deal 1 to my opponent. They're still up a life on this attack, and I'm going to 1. And Sudden Edict off the top. Nope. Alright. Oh, we are dead. Okay. Smush by Reanimator. No surprise there, I guess. Had to mull pretty low to find a piece of interaction. I'm sure this matchup's bad, but it felt bad. On to the final round. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I'm on the draw for round 5. I have a Cavern and a Prospector. I'm going to keep opponents on 6 cards. Uh-oh. Underground Sea. We're dead. I think this is an opportunity to cheese Wasteland. If you're just going to put an on-basic land into play and not cast a spell with it, I'm going to hit you. Let's get an Awkward Brainstorm out of this, and then move forward with our lives. Okay. Awkward Brainstorm achieved. Tropical Island Underground Sea. Is this the Epic Storm? Is that what I'm playing against? And I'm going to Cavern on Goblin here. Get my Prospector in. Let them know the coast is clear to go bananas. And then maybe start porting next turn. I guess it depends on what they do. If they like play Wishclaw Talisman and pass the turn, I'll probably attack for 1 and then play Crater Maker and sack my board to remove the talisman. Oh, we'll see what happens here. I think this is Storm though. Oh, JK. Fuck me. Are we Bug Delver? What is this deck? Okay. Anything's on. We're live for an experience again. Yeah, let's party. Wasteland off the top. You chose this world. You want to wasteland me after I wasteland you? One of us is wrong. Alright, pass the turn without a land drop. Let's end this foolishness. Shit. Well, I'm attacking and they're not, so I am ahead in this one-armed slap fight. Oh no, they have so many lands. What's going on over there? This is cheating. I was promised the game would end when I played my second Wasteland. Here's Rashad Port. I might be slamming into an Ice Fang Quaddle here, but that's fine. Let's do it. Come on and slam. Sucks that I'm also out of land drops. Now I have to decide between adding this Crater Maker to the board or porting them. If I port them and they hit the land drop and I don't, that sucks. I'm going to go for port though. I've been on this Wasteland strat this long. They made some mana in the end step, then changed their mind. They changed their mind again. Getting Abrupt Decayed. What's going on here? Assassin's Trophy. Resolves. Just going to ramp me in this game where we've fired off multiple Wastelands. Fucking deal. I'm going to tap them off blue because that's the color that can cast cantrips and dig them out of Mana Screw. Okay. Otawara. This is starting to feel like a Loam deck. I think it has felt like a Loam for a while. Like, this is probably some Bug Uro Loam deck. I'm going to Warchief plus Crater Maker this turn. I don't want to ram my Ringleader into something like Daze. And with so many cards in my hand, there's a chance that Ringleader just attacks for 2 and I move to cleanup. Or I could just attack for 4, spend all my mana, spread out my threats a little bit, and lighten up my hand for the Ringleader next turn. Put them to the test on an answer to Warchief. And if they're in a spot where they're Assassin's Trophying a Skirk Prospector, That feels like an opponent who doesn't have a handful of removal. In for 4 here. All my things resolved. They could Fatal Push the Crater Maker, but they did not. Okay. Looks like we're through the slap fight and into the... We both still have 4 lands in play, despite 3 Wastelands, an Assassin's Trophy, and a Rishadan board being involved in this game. Oh, we're some 4-color mess. We're getting expressive iteration out of this deck that up to this point has been bug. Oh, P-Fire. That's bad. Okay. Well, they don't have the thing that goes with it yet. The Grove. Trashmaster can get me up out of range here of Punishing Fire, but I think I want to Ringlead. Try to load up. I just love Ringleader. Maybe that's not how you play Goblins in 2022, but I just want to put this card into play as often as possible. Am I getting drowned in the lock? That's annoying. Okay. But weird option, but makes sense. Yeah, this is some kind of crazy Strifopile looking thing. I may have played against this exact deck in my Bant League earlier this week. Oh, come on. The Grove is here. Life is pain. Well, the Trashmaster would have been countered anyway. Okay. Now what's the plan? Goblin Lackey, pretty good. Trashmaster is the only thing in this hand that gets through fire, and it even only does that for 1 turn cycle, and then they can double fire. Maybe should have saved that Wasteland. Okay, Punishing Fire in the graveyard over there. They can pick it up. Oh, that's probably good. Probably just want to attack for my 3 up front. I think I want to attack for my 3. Oh no, what's this? Am I getting cowaddled? Just Drown in the Lock also kills this creature. Okay, all that, and they just took 3. Deal. Okay, I'm gonna play Goblin Lackey and Aether Vial here. They're rebuying E-Fire right now. God, what is this? 5 mana spell, Hardcast Force. Sure. Okay. Vial, get into play, and I think Pile Driver. Yeah, because they have to kill Trashmaster to put damage, lethal damage on Pile Driver. I'm gonna try to scrap over this finish line with Pashalik. That's really the only thing I can do. And they need another red source if they're gonna kill either of these creatures this turn, or a secondary removal spell, like Abrupt Decay on Pile Driver. That still doesn't answer Trashmaster, but if they have like Trophy for Trashmaster and then Pile Driver is a 1/2 again, that's bad. Dak Faden, you can steal my Aether Vial. I doubt it. That does not seem like a good play at all. They're going to draw 2, discard 2. Strifopile confirmed, by the way. That is exactly what's going on here. That Dak cost red mana, which means that firing either of these X3s is just kind of off the board. Wasteland I don't care about. 1 card left in hand. They're 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're dead on board. That last card in hand has to be a removal spell. All right, we're about to find out. Pernicious Deed. Nope, too late. You're dead. Yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. I can count. Can you? Okie dokie. We've got this one covered up. I'm going to put Pashalik into play. I don't think they have a trick they can do, but having Pashalik into play with Trashmaster means that I can sack all 3 goblins holding priority, target Aether Vial 3 times. Or I guess I wouldn't get 3 triggers because either Pashalik or Trashmaster would be dead first, but that's like an extra 2 damage if I needed it. Okay, over the finish line there. Beat a Punishing Fire. Jeez. Okay, this is Strifopile. This is a Dak Faden Punishing Fire value engine deck thing. It has Hull Breacher and Notion Thief in it to get the thieves going. Pyroblast kills Hull Breacher, Notion Thief, and Dak. First can fight over the fire. I like Magus of the Moon, so Punishing Fire just answers that. Maybe I don't like Magus of the Moon. Surgical, they're also a Loam deck. Opposition Agent, probably not where I want to be. Pile Driver, yeah, their removal's not blue, it's red. I actually like Pile Driver less than I like Ringleader. The Trashmaster won me that game, got me above the important 2-point threshold. Is this a vile matchup? We've seen Pernicious Deed and Dak. It's Oh, Fury. This is probably a Baleful Strix deck. Shave a Vial. Munitions Expert can pick off Dak or any of those creatures we mentioned. So can Incinerator. Now I know to save Wasteland for Punishing Fire. That's important. They're also a lone Wasteland deck, which makes me want more vials, not less. Oh, this is tricky. Raider Maker kills Hullbreacher or Notion Thief as necessary. Pashalik Mons and Sling Gang are my combo kill. All right, maybe one Muxus, one Ringleader on the Shave because I'm cutting a bunch of goblins. Okay, let's do it this way. I'm going to keep this one. I like the stability of Cavern. I like having an interactive graveyard object for the Punishing Fires. Kind of a slow hand, soft to Wasteland, but I'm willing to live in that world. They mulled to 6, and they polluted Delta for me. Ooh. Getting the whip. Tormod's whip. I am going to run out a Cavern to start. I actually want to protect the Badlands more than I want to protect the second Cavern here. Because this Pyroblast could be life and death if this hand relies on a Dak or something to try to turn the corner quickly when we get to 3 mana. Brainstorm. I wouldn't have Pyroblasted that even if I could. That's not my game plan here. Every big playoff in their deck is blue. There's the Wasteland. That's fine. We planned for this. Oh yeah, drew a 1-mana Goblin. Rewarded. Get in there. Does this one have the funny flavor text? I like goblins. They make funny little popping sounds when they die. Oh yeah. Good stuff. Their Brainstorm. Not going to Pyroblast it. This is... Last turn they had a no-shuffle Brainstorm after mulling to 6, and now they have done it again and missed a land drop for their trouble. Okay, this is pretty interesting. I could play Hearse, or I could wait a turn and protect it with Pyroblast. Am I supposed to Goblin Matron here? I could attack for 1 and then Matron for something. Seems like I'm probably supposed to Matron here, but this seems like a situation where maybe I do Pyroblast the cantrip. Yeah, I think I'm just going to chill. Maybe I'm taking too controlling of a posture. Goblins experts can yell at me in the chat. Okay. I am going to fire off Pyroblast on this. They missed a land drop. I know they're Brainstorm locked. Ponder can shuffle. If they want to commit a Force of Will to this, that's a force they don't have for the Hearse, so either way, Pyroblast flushes out the counterspell. Or they can just concede on the spot for a 3-2 victory. Okay, 3-2 in this league with Goblins. Got obliterated by Reanimator. Had basically no chance game 1, and then I mulled low to Leyline in game 2, which held for a while, but died as soon as they could remove it. I think I was like 1 turn away from maybe being able to plow through a monster, like the way my resources came together that game. But lost to Reanimator, which must be among the worst matchups. I'm sure that you can stack your graveyard to beat that. Like if you just want 4 Leylines, 4 Surgicals, 2 Mindbreak Traps, whatever. But that's not how you win a tournament. That's how you beat a single deck. So I imagine the numbers Eli has chosen here are like aggregate good against the field. Our other loss was to Grixis Control, which in game 1, we had a really interesting game where like I thought I was dying forever, and then they just like conceded around turn 7 to a Sling Gang Lieutenant, which felt pretty great. And then they just had Plague Engineer backing up their removal in 2-for-1s in the subsequent games. Coming from a Grixis Control background myself, I'm pretty comfortable with the Goblins matchup. I'm not going to say it's great, but like you have way more tools than like a Jeskai or Blue-White or whatever would have against these go-wide creature decks. And we had some really cool interactive games against Min on Jeskai. That was sick. The Dredge one, I think was the most exciting though. Just the finding the line on the last turn. My opponent making a mistake, not bringing their Hogak back on the turn they had the window, and then using every card in my hand to Fury plus Narcomeat plus Hearse. My opponent actually messed up that game twice. Like the turn they didn't cast Hogak, and then the turn that I played Hearse, they otherworldly gazed their deck. They knew they were drawing Stinkweed Imp, and then didn't bring back the one Ichorid I left them. Like, the Ichorid from the graveyard, plus the Stinkweed Imp from hand, could have put Hogak into play, which I would have lost to. So my opponent did not respect the GAC twice, and we ended up sneaking away a victory from the claws of defeat. Pretty cool, tricky little stuff here. I wish I understood the moving parts a little more. I know I left some value on the table, or like those games where it's like, do you start on Vile, back it up with Rishadan, connect with Lackey with protection on turn 3, or do you just like high roll the Lackey? Or like sideboarding is tricky as well because everything has a job. It's really interesting that there's 3 pile drivers in the deck right now. That card was down to 1 for a long time. I haven't really been following Goblin technology, but being back up to 3 is, I imagine that's just to blast through Murktide Regents for the most part. Unbounceable with Teferi. Unblockable from Snapcaster Mage. Like, blue cards are back, but the removal is white, black, and red. So I guess having a sticky body to blast through combat is worth more than other options you could have here. Check out Eli's Patreon, though, to get the explanation on all of these choices, because this is a deck that comes out of a mad scientist lab. This is someone who has run the numbers, like 3 Munitions Expert, 1 Gem Palm Incinerator. Why not the other way? Why not 4 of 1? Why not 2 and 2? I don't know. Why 3 Goblin Pile Driver? 1 Fable and the Mirror Breaker. If that were actually a Goblin, like if you could tutor that with Matron, if it was a tribal enchantment, it would make a ton of sense, but just like having that card in there, kicking around, sure, why not? A lot of really cool choices that this is not a deck you can just pick up and win a tournament with. You got to do the homework, and you'll find that homework in Eli's Patreon. Anyway, Luca, thank you for asking me to play Goblins. It was fun visiting this. I can genuinely say that my brain hurts the most after this league. Out of any league I've recorded recently, like blue deck, combo deck, doesn't matter. This deck was harder to play than any of that. There's just so many unknown unknowns for me. Like, I don't know what I don't know, and I know that I don't know it. So there's known unknowns and unknown unknowns, and I know that there are unknown unknowns, which is also stressful. It's a very tricky deck. A lot of respect for Goblins and those who choose to play it and those who succeed with it. No surprise, it has stayed strong in Legacy from literally day 1. Day 0 even. It's a port from the previous, slightly more powerful Legacy predecessor. And it's still here today. Thank you all for watching. Luca, thanks for asking me to play it. Eli, again, thank you for the list and the tips. Everybody check out Eli's stuff. Check out my stuff. All of it's in the video description. Buy some shirts from Coalesce Apparel. Use the code BoshNRoll at checkout. Do all that stuff. Support the channel. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time.